5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tier 1 Performance. We are back here with another guest on In and Out Talks, Mr. Alex Goldacker. Appreciate you joining us today. So go ahead and tell us where you are, where you're from, and how'd you get involved in your sport?
So I'm from Jerseyville, Illinois, some talented bumfuck nowhere, and you'd be surprised that I played tennis because tennis wasn't a really big thing out there. But the main thing was my dad. He played. He didn't start tennis until he got to college, but he got addicted to it. Started playing nonstop. Eventually got an offer. I think he was out in Montana State, and then after that he went and was playing on working, getting his pro card for a little bit. He got there, but then he had my older brother and sister, so that kind of slowed him down. And then he just decided to do D1 coaching or whatever. He took the SIUE women's tennis team to a national championship 2 years in a row. So yeah,
Big resume.
yeah. So they were pretty. He was my biggest influence to get into tennis. I was actually always loved baseball. I played catcher. That was what I thought I was going to do whenever I got to high school. But then at the last minute, for some reason, I just decided to play tennis, and that was a huge advantage having my dad to be able to help me out on that part. And then so I ended up playing 2 years of tennis at Lewis and Clark Community College, which is a Juco school. Had the opportunity to go continue my tennis career, but I told myself if it's not going to be a big D1 offer, then I want to go to like an SEC school to enjoy the last couple of years.
Right. So what was the recruiting process like for you?
So the school was pretty local, so it was only like 30 minutes from my hometown. So the coach was actually originally he was a high school coach, and I played against their team quite a bit, a few times, and he reached out to me and was saying like, "Oh, do you have any plans of going to college?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll probably go to Lewis and Clark just to make it a lot cheaper, you know." And he was like, "Actually, they just hired me on as the tennis coach, and I'm looking for players." He's like, "I'll pay for your schooling while you're here and whatnot." And he's like, "Are you interested?" I'm like, "Hell yeah." I was going to go there anyways.
Free school, right?
Yeah, for free, you know, so.
So it was like a full ride to a junior college in your hometown?
It was about 30 minutes away.
30 minutes away. And you commuted from home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
What was, so as you were playing Juco, were you able to go up against talent that ended up becoming like D1, D2?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me what's the difference in like level? Like what separates a D1 player from a D2, from a D3, from a Juco, or maybe it's just mixed or blended in? Because that's how it is in baseball.
Yeah.
There's some guys that are on D3 schools, and I think Mitch can agree with me. There's some guys at Juco that are just as good as some MLB prospects, that are just as good as some D1 guys or D2 or NAIA, but they just happen to be there, via whatever circumstance they're going through. So what's that like for tennis?
Yeah, so you get like a huge mixture, like you said. There are some kids that I would go up against, and I was like, how did you even get into like a college play tennis? Like it was like they never picked up a racket in their life. And then there were some kids that I were playing, and I'm like, why are you only at a community college? Like you should be D1 at this point. We did play a couple like small D1 schools as well, and playing them was like night and day. But I always enjoyed playing those kind of players more because it made me better as a player.
Yeah.
If you're playing down, then you're not really working on your game. You're not improving your game. But then when you play those guys that are a whole lot better than you, you have to learn how to adapt to their game to play a whole lot better. So it's kind of tough to tell. The biggest thing I think is what makes a D1 player is the mental game.
Right.
Like tennis is such a mental game. That was what I struggled with a whole lot. If you lose a point and you let it get to you, then it's downhill from there. It just colossal, just falls down throughout the rest of your matches, and that was my biggest thing. And I would say some of the players that ended up going D1, they just never let anything bother them.
Oh,
I mean, they
just
were
next play type thing.
thick skin, and that's what I needed to really work on, and for the most part, and that's probably why I didn't get as big as a D1 offer. Was a lot of my matches I would tank my matches because I'd get so pissed off and I'd break a racket or something like that and ruin my game. So I would say definitely somebody who's mentally tough is probably what makes a D1 player.
Mental toughness, yeah, I think plays a huge role as far as all sports and like as far as just living your everyday life, doing it, going to a 9-to-5 to a job maybe you love or maybe you hate. It still takes a lot of mental toughness, a lot of mental fortitude. But yeah, no, I think it's a pretty good thing you need to have in order to play at the next level, and then even more so to go pro, right?
Yeah.
So you were at a junior college and you said you got some offers. What was the recruiting process from going Juco to another school like? Because it's not all fairy tales and happy endings.
Yeah.
Most people believe or led to believe. Sometimes you don't get the scholarship. Sometimes you get the chance and you're like, maybe this isn't for me. Sometimes you do get the dream and you get to go to a school of your choice. Or sometimes you're just not good enough at all.
Right. So it was kind of similar. It was coaches that came to like a couple of our tournaments and whatnot that we had, just kind of scouting us out, and then they would get in contact with my coach and then start emailing me. And the main thing is like I made it clear that I'm not going to go somewhere unless I get a scholarship offer. Because if I'm at that point, I'd rather go to a place where I'm going to get a better education and set me up for the future than just go to a school to where I'm going to play tennis on non-scholarship. So it was very similar in the fact that they're just reaching out to you. They let you know what you can offer. A lot of times they would be like, well, we can't offer you something right off the bat, but after a season with us, then we should be able to offer you a scholarship after that. I was like, I don't really want to take that risk, I'd much rather go to a larger school that I'll enjoy a whole lot and get a good education to where at least whenever I was looking for jobs, they'd be like, oh, you went to University of South Carolina. It's a good like starting talking point.
You looked at it from like a business point of vantage almost.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, some people do that. I think that was a smart move because it ended up paying out for you, right? So what do you go ahead and what do you do now? Explain what happened after your career ended going through South Carolina and then it led to what you do now.
Okay, so yeah, I did really miss playing tennis whenever I got to South Carolina. There was a little bit of a regret of not going out and playing because a lot of my buddies that I played with at the community college I was at ended up going on and playing tennis, and it just really sucked seeing them like continue the game and enjoy it and whatnot. And I was just like, man. So I did play with the club team a few times. I would go to their practices, but to be on the club team, you got to be dedicated, and they were just as dedicated as the real tennis team in South Carolina. It was practices every night, tournaments on the weekend, Oh, wow. So I was just like, I'm at the point if I'm not getting paid to do it like school-wise, I figured I'd just enjoy my social life in school. So
SEC schools are a little bit different. Understandable.
Which probably enjoyed my social life a little bit too much, but I mean, hey, you're only there for a couple of years, you might as well enjoy it before you have to end up at your 9 to 5, So yeah, then I got my degree in chemical engineering. Worked with you at Altamira was my first job.
That's how we met. Yes, absolutely.
And then from there on out, I moved from that company. I'm at KBR right now. I really like the company. The people that I work with are great. I will say, like playing tennis, and at the same time I was playing tennis, I also had a job, and then also you're trying to balance your social life. So I will say, being a student athlete definitely helps you with time management.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to still put in the work and constantly working on your game, and also having a job and working around that, and then doing all your schoolwork,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a huge thing is time management, and I think that's what really paid off, just being a college athlete was huge.
So what made you choose South Carolina? It's a long way from Illinois.
Yeah,
I feel like the people deserve to know.
So it was actually my freshman year. We just went on spring break to Myrtle Beach, and a lot of the people that I met there on spring break said they went to University of South Carolina. I was like, damn, y'all seem like you're having a blast there, So I also was looking at Texas A&M as well, but when I was supposed to visit Texas A&M, the hurricane came through, so I was like, all right, that's God telling me to go to South Carolina. And so me and my buddy made a trip out of it. We stayed a week in Myrtle Beach, just kind of bar hop, hung out at the beach, had a great time, and then on the way back, we told my parents that we visited the school quite a bit or whatever, but we literally stopped on our way back to Illinois for 30 minutes and then said, yeah, all right, this is good enough. And then we headed back home.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. They ever find out?
No.
Yeah. Oh, they might find out after watching
Yeah.
it. You know, so I think that's important to know, because maybe some athletes' priorities isn't just to evolve in the sport on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it is a gateway, it is a key, it is a doorway to get to a better life in the end, right? I know I've known players that come in and say, baseball is not my life. Baseball is something that I'm good at, and I'm just going to ride it out so I can get whatever I can. It's like basically milk the cow, right? And I feel like some people might say that's wrong, but I don't think that's necessarily wrong. There's nothing wrong exploiting something that you're good at, or something that you work hard in, or you're just talent for, and exploiting that to your advantage. And I think that's kind of like a case of what you did. You realized you were good at tennis, you had the resources, you developed a good game, and then you were like, you got to a point where like, hey, I can continue going to either, you know, small D1 or whatever offer you got, but you ended up going to be like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the rest of college, what I want to do. And unfortunately, I had to part ways with tennis, and now I went to SEC school, South Carolina, and I don't regret it, I think. Right? Because you don't regret it, right?
Not at all. Yeah.
Like, I know you say you missed the game, but when weighing the times that you had at South Carolina, do you think you could have had, you know, a bigger impact with your life if you stayed with tennis?
I mean, it would have definitely helped, you know, especially with college debt, you know. I mean, nobody wants to pay that shit. And it would have been really nice to not have as much as I do right now, but, you know, I got a good job, so I'm not completely worried about it, but it would be nice at the end of the day, you know, not having to pay $1,500 a month in school loans and whatnot. So I do look back on that and say I have like a little regret not taking advantage of being able to possibly reduce that debt tremendously on scholarships. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I had a blast at South Carolina. I don't think I changed a thing at all. So
that's good. That's great. Because there are plenty of athletes out there that do wish they took different routes, right? It's not always like a fairy tale ending. But like, so going back, you said you were playing tennis, working a job, and doing schoolwork as a chemical engineer. How hard was that?
It sucked. I'm not gonna lie. You know, and you know, you definitely notice. You know, you got to take your choices there. You know, like some nights it was like, okay, I won't be able to study this much, and then my grades would start tanking, or like I'd be like, okay, I can't go out tonight, even though all my buddies are begging me to go out. You know, which I was very weak about that. Half the time, you didn't even have to pull my leg. You just be like, hey, we're going out tonight. And I'm like, all right, fine.
We appreciate you being honest.
Yeah, so that was a huge thing with chemical engineering. I ended up actually, when my second year at South Carolina, I ended up just taking a little bit more loan money out so I wouldn't have to work a job, because it just, once you got to your junior, senior level classes, it got to a point where it was just too much to be working a job and then also trying to stay healthy. Like, since I wasn't playing tennis, I was also trying to get into working out a whole lot.
Right. Now, as environmental engineering, I thought it's hard balancing that type of workload, and then even without playing baseball, I was like, this is insane. You're taking 17, 18 credits an hour. Or 17, 18 credits a semester, but then you come in and you add sports to the mix, and it's an absolute nightmare. I remember my freshman year, I took 18 credits. I remember I was getting like 4 hours of sleep. Dude, I woke up, I went to practice in the morning at 8, class from 8 to 12, ate lunch, and then from 1 to 6 was with baseball. Then I had to lift after that, and then like I had to make it to the dining hall, and then straight to study hall or the library until like midnight. Go to sleep, start that thing back over. I know this is no life to live right now. But that's what we had to do, and I know it's freaking brutal trying to get the time management down for all this stuff. And you brought up a good point, like socially, you know, it's a lot of, it's not, I don't think it's talked about enough, you know, for those of y'all listening at home who are in high school, middle school, or in college, but it's not talked about enough that how athletes can easily get lost and the social aspect of being an athlete. Like, you go to a big school in South Carolina, you go to a mid-major school like URI, you go to A&M, a Juco, it doesn't matter, right? You're in the prime of your lives, most people, not everyone, but most people are in the prime of their lives, and they're wanting to go out and they're wanting to do, adult stuff. Yeah. I'm not saying everyone's over the age of 21, but like, we are adults technically. So, everyone goes out, and it's easy for someone who's not responsible enough, but who is a good athlete, to get lost in that. And then quickly they forget, I have class, or they start skipping, and once you skip once, you skip twice, you skip 3 times, and it's a snowball effect. And then when it comes to your sport, it just all comes to a head when that semester grades you. And next thing you know, you're failing your team, and then you feel like a failure yourself, and it's just a downward spiral. So I think like that is really huge on how to separate your social life and balance it out with academics and athletics. How were you able to counteract falling into that social sinkhole from not losing yourself as a player?
So the main thing was, just having that discipline, like you said. Like, I remember, like, the first time I skipped class, then the next time I wanted to, it didn't feel so bad, because I'm like, oh, I already done it before. What's the big deal, So it's mainly just having that discipline, just telling yourself, okay. I mean, what's like the biggest thing is the FOMO, the fear of missing out on like a huge party. But you got to realize in college, there's plenty of those opportunities to go out and make those memories, be stupid, but there's a right time, the right place to do it, So the biggest thing was just having that discipline, telling myself, yeah, my buddies may be having a blast out right now, but I mean, in the long run, this is going to help me. I mean, because if you start letting your social life take over your academics and your athletics, one, like you said, you start falling back in your athletics, then you're not performing as well. You're letting your team down, you're not, and nobody likes to lose, If you're losing all the time, then you lose the love of the game, I mean, so then you start losing motivation, and you stop working at your game. So it's always good to not fall back athletically, and especially academically, Once you fail a class, you got to take it over again, and that's just money that you're burning through. Even if you're on scholarship, you fail a class, a lot of times they'll start threatening to take your scholarship away.
Yeah, then you're in real trouble.
Yeah, and then you don't have any money going towards your schooling. And so that was my biggest thing, was I almost failed one class one semester, and I was just told myself, okay, I can't be doing this. It's hurting my GPA, which GPA is important right off the bat when you graduate. A lot of internships and first-time jobs do look at your GPA. So it is important to keep that up as well. So if you can, stay disciplined and also put your academics first. It probably goes academics, athletics, social life, but a lot of times we do athletics, social life, and academics.
Correct.
But
correct. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. So
my motto was, you have to get ahead, otherwise college will punish you for having fun. Like, if you have a chance to get ahead in all your classes, go have fun. You know what I'm saying? But if you have fun first, when you wake up the next morning, college has punished you for having fun and not taking care of your stuff, right? I mean, because you know you're going to go to practice. But you also know you have to go and pass your classes. And if you don't do that, if you're a dummy and you're not making it, or you're just letting yourself go and you're like, oh man, I'll get wasted instead with my boys, because they're living their best life, or I'll go hang out with the frat kids, or I'll go, maybe I'll go to my girlfriend's place or whatnot and just chill out. I mean, there's so much things to do in college, and you get lost. And by you being lost, you're completely letting all that hard work that you did go to waste. I mean, you have to be able to find a way to manage it. Now, you talked about people losing scholarships for tennis, but how does the scholarship system work for tennis? Because, football, they have 40 scholarships, and for baseball, they have like 11 or 11 and a half, I believe, something like that. And it has to get divided amongst like 40 guys. So how does that work for tennis?
Well, luckily with tennis, you don't need a whole lot of players on the team to make a team. I think we had 8 guys on our team, because you need 6 singles players and 3 doubles teams. And a lot of times you have those 2 guys. Yeah, the 2 extra guys. You got people that are really good at doubles, so they're just only dedicated to playing doubles and whatnot. So everybody was able to get a scholarship, plus the Juco college that I went to wasn't that expensive, so they were able to afford giving us all full rides there,
Oh, okay.
which was nice. But I'm sure it's just like what you guys went through whenever you go on to bigger schools, bigger D1s. That's probably why they couldn't offer me. Like I said, that school said, well, after a year of playing, they won't be able to offer you money after that because they probably didn't have.
Right.
I mean, all the scholarships were probably given away at that point.
So
So
the teams are bigger.
yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
How does being an American playing tennis rival you against like college competition? Because I believe a lot of them are foreign.
Oh yeah. So actually, our number one player, who I was always battling with to get the number one spot on our singles list, he was from Colombia, and man, those guys are just like a different breed because they're the only way they're going to college here in the U.S. is through the sports,
because they're good.
Yeah, so that's their biggest thing is like they want to be the best so they can continue going to college here in the United States. So I mean they were always the hardest working. They were always the mentally
Almost do or die.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times I'd run into that, and like usually it was those foreign players were always just a different breed of player.
Is it more foreigners at the next level than it is Americans for college?
I would think so. Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of the times you see that. Like I'll watch a couple tournaments here and there, college tournaments, and a lot of them seem to be foreign players. But
Wow.
I mean, our number one in the world, or not in the world, but in the United States for college tennis, he was American. But I mean, there's still a mixture as you trickle down.
Yeah, that is insane. So what would you say for an American high schooler right now? What would you say is the best course of action to get recruited?
So a huge thing for me was like I said, I had my dad to help me out outside of just practice alone. So a big thing I would say to obtain a scholarship is you got to put in your own time. You can't rely on, I'm just going to show up to practice every day just with my team, and then that'll be good enough, and eventually I'll get recruited. It doesn't work like that. A huge thing was, I would go to the court by myself with a basket of tennis balls and work on my serves, or find a beat board that I can just hit the ball all day long, or work on, or just ask. Usually you got somebody on the team that's just as dedicated as you. So like I had my buddy Alex Roth, and he was my doubles partner throughout high school and my first 2 years at college tennis. And that was our biggest thing was we had the last hour as a senior, the last hour of the day, you got off early, and we would use that time to go out and just practice, just me and him individually, just work on our game before we even had practice in the first place, So it's really immersing yourself, getting addicted to improving, is really what got me a scholarship. So that whether that means getting extra help or just working on your game, finding somebody that will also want to do the same, just stuff like that, just like putting in the extra time,
Is it like in order to get seen by college scouts, is it like you have to go to certain tournaments and they're there, or
Yes.
do you have to build up your reputation, or?
Yeah, so it's a little mixture of both. My biggest thing was I would play in like USTA tournaments,
Okay.
and that was where you get your most exposure, especially if like you're playing the match of your life, And also colleges are able to, if you do USTA, you build points by places that you rank in the tournament, and then you can build up points, and then that improves your ranking, and then you jump classes or whatever to eventually make it to pro. And so that was the biggest thing that helped me also. But it was also, the community college was mainly because I played against this coach or whatever in high school, so he knew who I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fascinating. I mean, figuring out like that it's so different from baseball or from any other sport that we've heard.
Mm-hmm.
What about like skill level? Like what kind of skill levels are at the collegiate level versus high school? Like, for example, I don't know that much about tennis, but is it like you have to have a complete backhand going into college, or you have to be able to hit your serve over X amount of miles per hour?
Yeah.
Like what's kind of the standard for college players versus high school players?
So yeah, in high school, you could just be on the team. You don't have to really worry about anything. And like I said, those were always like the worst players to play against. That would just hit the ball, 100 feet in the air. It would just drive you fucking crazy. But The best thing was when you get to college, you know, everybody's a well-rounded player. You know, you got somebody who's got a decent forehand, backhand, and serve. Now, what sticks out at the college level is like, okay, you may be playing somebody that the reason why they're there is because their serve is phenomenal. Or you have a dude that can just place the ball anywhere on the court that he wants to. Or he's got a strong forehand, but the biggest thing was always trying to pick out their weaknesses. So like a lot of times, like usually everybody's weakness was the backhand, you know?
Yeah.
That was the toughest thing to do.
To return it strong.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say at the collegiate level, you're pretty a well-rounded player. It's just like usually you'll find like each player has like one weak part of their game that needs
Trying
to
to improve
improve.
it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's got to be intense, right?
Yeah.
How long do these matches usually take?
You know, it depends on how they play it. A lot of times, if you were playing just a regular match against another team, they would shorten it up and you just do a superset, which is 8 sets. First one to 8 sets wins. But if you're actually playing in like real tournaments, like our regional tournament and whatnot, I mean, those matches could last anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. And you're just nonstop running back and forth.
Straight agility.
Yeah.
Is it best to say that you're in the best shape you've
Oh
ever
yeah,
been in?
yeah.
Oh
I
man.
miss being in that shape. I'm like, I look back at pictures, I'm like, man, you really let yourself get in.
we all look way better in our prime playing.
Yeah.
So you know, but Alex, man, it was a pleasure having you on. Hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
y'all.